All right, so we are going to be dealing with what's called nested grouping symbols, which is grouping symbols inside grouping symbols. The nice thing is the math doesn't change. It's just how you start the problem will be different, and the rest of it will be stuff that you know. So when you simplify expressions, which is what we're doing, we use something that we've actually studied before called order of operations. And most of what we've done with order of operations has just involved numbers, not variables or letters. But now we're going to be moving into where we have letters. The very first step in order of operations is to eliminate, and I'm just going to write the grouping with an S, eliminate grouping symbols. So you want to get rid of them. That's what we did on yesterday's assignment, is you distributed the negative to get rid of the parentheses. The parentheses are your grouping symbols. Parentheses are grouping symbols. Brackets are grouping symbols. Absolute value bars are grouping symbols. There's actually a lot of different grouping symbols. But the important thing is that when you are getting rid of them or you're eliminating them, that you always do the inside pair first. And then you're going to work your way outside until you've gotten rid of all the grouping symbols. So it's always inside pair first. That's pretty much the only new part of what we're going to do today. So inside pair first and then work your way out. Now I'm going to fill these in just so you have a copy of your order of operations. Your second step is exponents. So if there's any like 2 to the power of 3, you're going to want to make that into an 8. So exponents are number 2. Now, the last 2 steps you guys are really familiar with. Step 3, so I'm going to abbreviate, is your multiply divide step. And you have to go left to right and go from all the way to the left all the way to the right. And then your last step is your add subtract step. And that one is also left to right. Now, exponents does not have to go left to right. But if you go left to right, it's not going to hurt anything. So when in doubt, go left to right and you'll be fine. All right, that is your order of operations. And in solving, your whole first step is doing this stuff, simplifying. All right, so let's start with one example. We'll start with an easy one with all numbers. So bracket 4 minus 2, parentheses, 7 minus 3. And you'll hear me say close. Close means the other side. Close the parentheses, close the brackets. All right. So for order of operations, there's a lot, looks like there's a lot going on there. You're going to start with the inside pair. So inside the bracket pair is the parentheses pair. So that's going to be the first thing you're going to do, is the 7 minus 3, which I know you know is 4. So we did inside first. Now I didn't get rid of the parentheses because the scalar 2 is going to be multiplied by that 4. So I needed to leave them in. But that's the next step I'm going to do, is the multiply divide step, because these 2 are being multiplied. I'm not going to do anything with the 4 minus 2. That's your last thing that you do. I'm going to do multiplication. Negative 2. So let's recopy the 4. Negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 4 is 8. And now there's no reason to have parentheses. So we've eliminated the inside pair. All right, now we're inside the brackets. 4 minus 8, the signs are different. So subtract. 8 minus 4 is 4. The bigger number gives the sign. It's a negative 4. And at this point, there's no reason for these brackets to be here, because there's nothing here being multiplied or here being multiplied. So we can just leave the brackets off. That happens sometimes. All right, so that's one of the easier ones. Let's do one of the wild and crazy ones. Bracket 8 parentheses times x plus 3, close the parentheses. minus 2, close the bracket, plus new bracket, 2 times the parentheses, x plus 1, close the parentheses, plus 2, close the brackets. You should always have partners for your parentheses and brackets. If you find you have a left bracket but not a right bracket, you want to double check the problem. You might have left one off. But they always come in pairs. They're buddies. Okay, so we're going to eliminate grouping symbols from the inside out. So inside these brackets, there is parentheses. So first thing you're going to do is get rid of those parentheses by distributing the 8. And you know how to do this already. So 8 times x, leave a space, 8 times 3, and everything's positive. So 8 times x is 8x. A positive times a positive is a positive. 8 times 3 is 24. And there's no more parentheses. Bring down the negative 2. Now I'm going to do everything I can inside these brackets before I move to the other brackets. So now we're going to throw your marker. Add like terms. So the 8x isn't going anywhere because there's no other x's. So we're going to put together the 24 and the minus 2. So recopy the 8x. 24 minus 2 is 22. And I can't add those, so I am done with the left-hand brackets. Now we're going to go to the right-hand brackets. Start by the inside-most grouping symbols. We're going to get rid of the parentheses by distributing the 2. So we're going to have 2 times x, leave a space, 2 times 1, excuse me. They're all positive, so that helps. 2 times x is 2x. Go ahead and put the plus and the left bracket in there. And then 2 times 1 is positive 2. And bring down the other plus 2. All right, we're done getting rid of those. Now we can add like terms. 2 plus 2 is 4. So 2x plus 4. Okay, so now you have to ask yourself, do I need these brackets? Is there a negative being distributed? No, it's a positive. The positive won't change anything. There's nothing in front, nothing in back, nothing negative in front, nothing in back. There's no reason for these brackets. So we're just going to rewrite it without them. 8x plus 22 plus 2x plus 4. We don't need them. All right, last thing, we're going to add like terms. 8 plus 2 is 10x. 22 plus 4 is positive 26. All done. Most of the assignment is just going to be simplifying. I'm not going to give you as many problems because they're longer. At the very end, they have a weird one. So I'm going to show you one of these. It's very easy once you get it. The instructions say to enclose the last 3 terms by, and I'm going to abbreviate, dividing out a negative. These are kind of fun because they're pretty easy. Okay, so enclose the last 3 terms into parentheses, excuse me, by a dividing out a negative. So here's my last 3 terms right there. I'm going to divide a negative 1 out of all of them. The x, it's not changed. That's not one of the last 3. This is easy. This is, remember we did factoring by reverse distribution? That's all this is. You're going to put the minus 1 out front, then you're going to do parentheses, and then you're just going to simplify. A negative divided by a negative is a positive y. A negative divided by a negative is a positive a. A negative divided by a negative is a positive b. And seriously, that's all they want you to do, is divide a negative one out of the last three. Piece of cake. That's all they want you to do. So again, this is leading up to solving. All right, are there any questions?